Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite series finales. I have 5 incredible end to the series books right here, and I'm so excited to share them with you, even though I've talked about them a bit on my channel. Obviously, they're popular series, and the reason why is because they're so good, but these finales really blew me away. So I'm very excited to talk to you about that. But first, I have something else to talk to you about, and that is that this video is being brought to you by Get Underline, so thank you so much Get Underline for sponsoring this video. We are celebrating actually the series finale of the series Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I think I said series way too many times in that sentence and I apologize. So the Ash Princess series consists of Ash Princess, the first book, Lady Smoke, the second book, and Ember Queen, the third, final, and most recently released book that we are celebrating here today. The series already sounds like, just from reading the synopsis, that it has everything that I like in a YA fantasy. For instance, murder, which is a bad thing to start off with, but wait, it gets better. We got murder, we have a kingdom that's been overthrown, and we have a badass girl who is willing to fight for her kingdom, and I'm so excited to read this. So the story follows Theodosia, who was dubbed the Ash Princess 10 years ago when the Kaiser invaded her country and then murdered her mother, the Fire Queen. So Theodosia is the princess to this country, and she has been locked away and dubbed as the Ash Princess ever since the overthrowing happened. It's a title of shame that she has to wear and bear for 10 years as she watches her country be enslaved and taken over by these people that she doesn't like. And who also, may I remind you, killed her mother, which immediately right there, we don't like these people. So one night the Kaiser forces her to do something so bad that she finally realizes that just getting by and surviving is not enough in this world. And she realizes that having a weapon and being able to fight back does not always mean it's something physical. She realizes that her mind is sharper than any sword, and she is going to use it to get out of here and take back her country. You guys know that a badass female lead is the way to my heart. I'm so excited to read these, and now that I have all 3, I can just binge the whole thing in a couple days and be so happy. So Ember Queen, the final book in this series, is out now currently, so make sure to go check it out and pick it up if you've read the first 2, or pick up the first 2 before you read this one. Obviously, you don't want to read this before you read this. Just pick up the series as a whole and enjoy it like I will. And make sure to go check out Get Underline's YouTube channel. The link will be in the description down below. And so now, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 favorite series finales. And while I know that these books are not necessarily the only series finales that I've enjoyed, these are just the ones that I pulled because, I don't know, I remember myself like crying while I was reading them or feeling something like really emotional while I was reading, and it just had like a big impact. The first series finale that I want to talk about and tell you guys how great it was, even though you've probably heard enough about it already, is Supernova by Marissa Meyer, which is the series finale of Renegades. This series centers around superheroes and supervillains, follows 2 amazing lead characters. They are so great, and you just want them to get together throughout the entire series, and they both have secrets, and you don't find out that they reveal those secrets until this book, and this book is just such a great culmination of all of the things that have been building up and building up and building up over the series. This book just had it all. This book made me feel all of the things. It really kept stretching out that thing that you wanted to keep happening until the very, very end. And there was even a shocking twist at the end that I guessed in the middle of the book and I got right. Definitely a highlight on my series finale lists. I loved this series, and especially the last one so much. The next of which is one that I've recently talked about and I've talked about many a time, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, and that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, which is pretty much a no-brainer to have on this list for me. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, when I reread this book, A Conjuring of Light just brings everything together in such a beautiful way. The first 2 books in this series follow Kel and Lila, who are our main characters, but A Conjuring of Light really brings forward like Rye and Alucard and his parents and Holland, and it really brings their characters' arcs to the forefront and then finishes them off really, really well. And I just love this series so much, but especially this finale. This last book is my favorite in the series. It's so good. It is the biggest, which is why it's the best. And I would read this book 1,000 times over if I could. The next series finale that I have here is one I am sure many of you will agree with me on, and that is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. You cannot look me in the eye and tell me that you did not bawl your eyes out at that epilogue, okay? It's been a very long time since I've read this book, and I really should reread the series this year, but I just remember feeling so many things during this finale. Oh my god. You know, you have the love triangle of Will and Jem and Tessa, and you just want all three of them to end up together so bad. Other things end up happening in this story, but it's just, it's so emotional, it's so heartfelt and heartbreaking, and I really feel like this ending was really good. There are things that happen that you don't want to happen. No spoilers, just gonna leave it at that. But the things that you don't want to happen, the way that they happen, are good. It's so weird to try to explain. This book is always going to be high up on the series finale list. It's just so good. I feel like I mention this in every video that I bring this series up in, but I don't talk about the Raven cycle enough. So in this one, I am bringing up the Raven King, which is the series finale to the Raven cycle quartet. And the reason I'm bringing this one up in this video is not only because I don't mention the series enough, which is true, but also because I just forgot all of the emotion that I felt when I read this book until I looked at it again, and I thought about what I wrote in my Goodreads review at the time about how I had like cried 8 times during the book, and it just brought back so many emotions that I was not expecting, so I had to put it on this list. This series is so confusing. You will get to this book and not understand a thing that is happening, but you will cry nonetheless. It is so good. The mood of the story, the characters, the character relationships, the arcs, the things that are happening, the plot, the way that it unfolds, people you don't want to die but you think are gonna die. It's just, there's so much happening at once in this story, and everything is going so quickly that by the time the end like roars at you, you're like in tears and sobbing and just hoping to God that none of these people die. And I have been meaning to reread it for a very long time, and I think this year will have to be the year. And the final series finale that I have on this list is one that I haven't talked about since I finished, but definitely deserves a spot no matter how much hate it gets, and that is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I acknowledge all the negative opinions of this book and how Sarah J. Maas writes her male characters, but I am not going to deny that this is a really good series. The last 3 books, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash, are so good. I don't even know what I can say about you, because you just made me feel so many things, and I still don't forgive you for that. By the time you get to this book, there are so many different characters that we follow. There's so much that's happening in the story, which is why it's like nearly 800 pages long, if not over that. It's so hard to put this book down, because not only do you want to know what's gonna happen at the end, you just are so caught up in these relationships and how these people feel for one another, and it just makes you like hate them because you love them so much. You become so attached that you hate them for it. I'm putting this finale on this list especially also because of the ending of the finale. The finale is the end to the series, but the ending of the finale, the final page of the series, it ties everything back together. It's basically a mirror of the end of the first book, I believe, from what I remember. It just makes you feel all of the things, and there is not much more that I can say about it because it's amazing. So everybody, those are all of the series finales that are my favorites right now. Of course, like I said, I have many other series on my shelves that I could have included in this, like Obsidio or any of the Percy Jackson finales. But when I was looking on my shelves, these were the ones that stood out to me as I was way too emotional, I cared about the characters too much, and overall I really enjoyed the ending that I just decided to pull together. So thank you once again to Get Underlined for sponsoring this video. Remember that Ash Princess, the series as a whole, is completely out, and Ember Queen is in stores now. I'm really excited to read this series, and it's gonna have to go on my TBR for next month or in April. I'm just really in the mood for a good YA fantasy series, and I feel like this is it. If you guys have a favorite series finale that you really enjoyed, please let me know down below so I can gauge some other series based on how they end. But of course, no spoilers. If you spoil a series for me, I will not read it. I can promise you that. So guys, I think that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!